Hello and welcome to Cadence Design Systems Fidelity Tutorial Tuesday, where we show you how to use a feature or demonstrate the technique in just a few minutes. Today we're going to talk about a new split position option for the bisect mode of the Trim Geometrically command. The Trim Geometrically command in Fidelity Pointwise is a great CAD pre-processing tool that allows you to select and quickly trim quilts. There are instances where the user would like to have control over their specific meshing parameters and characteristics in certain areas of the geometry. In such cases, if the hard feature edges are not already available at the desired location, the user would have to create these edges manually. But the Trim Geometrically feature can automate this process for you by allowing you to quickly bisect or otherwise split the quilts. There are 4 trim modes in the Trim Geometrically command, which can be used depending on the nature of the trim operation that's intended. We're going to focus on the bisect mode, which basically allows you to split the quilt into 2 pieces. In that sense, you have control over the split direction. This direction could be widthwise or lengthwise, or you can let Pointwise determine which of the 2 to use depending on the curvature in either directions. Starting with Fidelity Pointwise version 2024.2, we now have more control over the trimming curve definition for the bisect mode. After we determined the direction of the split, the default behavior in the earlier versions was to split the quilt with a curve that passes through the center point, which is computed as the average of all of the quilt's corner points. This works great for most quilts with a somewhat symmetric curvature distribution, but we now have a new option for split position called Curvature. This option allows you to automatically bisect quilts along the line of maximal curvature, which makes it ideal for trimming along leading edges or stagnation lines for wings or blade geometries. So let's see this new split position option in action. Here, I have the full landing configuration geometry from the 5th AIAA High-Lift Prediction Workshop. Looking at the inboard and outboard slat components, you can see that the quilts on the forward-facing side of these slats are defined in one piece. Now, I would like to be able to have direct control over the grid resolution and mesh characteristics on the slats when doing the surface meshing. So I would like to create some hard feature edges along the leading edge of the slats that will let me apply a tailored stretching filter for surface meshing inside ASM. Now I'm going to use the Trim Geometrically feature on a subset of this model. With these quilts selected, I go to Edit, Trim Geometrically. Here I will choose the Bisect mode and make sure the split direction is set to Curvature. Now for the split position, I have the center option selected, which is the behavior we used to get in earlier versions. With these settings, let me select the forward-facing quilt on the inboard slat. Pointwise is now showing me a preview of the trim curve shown in yellow, and it's waiting for me to click Apply to have the quilt split along this curve. But as you can see, the center option is basically splitting the quilt somewhat in half, and the trim curve highlighted here is not really what I want. I want the curve to go along this line where I actually have the maximum curvature, or basically along the line of minimum radii of curvature. So in the past, my only option was to switch from the bisect mode to the 2-point mode, then select a point here at the inboard side and a second point here on the other end to have the trim curve defined along the actual leading edge. But the new curvature option for split position is going to be ideal for situations like this. If I now switch the split position option to curvature, you can see right away the new trimming curve previewed, and this is exactly what I want. So I click Apply to have the selected quilt split along this line. Let me try this on the outboard slat. And there you go. It's once again splitting this quilt along the line of maximal curvature, which places the trim curve right along the leading edge of the slat. There is also this quilt, a small quilt at the root of the wing, which is not split along the leading edge. I would like to have some additional anisotropic stretching in this part of the model, so let me trim this quilt as well. Now, let me switch the split position options for you to see the differences. Now, for a quilt like this, which is somewhat symmetric about the leading edge, you can see that the trim and curve you get with the center or curvature split position options are not too different. But I would still prefer the curve defined using the curvature option because really what I want is to split along the leading edge of this quilt, and that is what I'm getting here with the curvature option. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click the thumbs up button to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please drop us a line down below or connect with us on LinkedIn, which is linked in the description. Thank you all and have a pleasant Tuesday.